Good evening. Today we'll learn about managing people in 21st century. Now, when we begin this topic, just try to think of a person or think of yourself. You are a 21st century person, and soon enough, you will be part of an organization, possibly, or you could maybe run your own organization. Either way, we need to understand that what are the characteristics of 21st century people. So, some of the things that we can look at is that they are digitally well versed, that they seek autonomy. That is one other characteristic. Also, if you look at organizations, or if you look within the organizations that we have these days, you'll see that people are multilingual. It's not that everybody is unilingual or bilingual. You'll see that we have people in our organization and the reason why we are focusing on the language, it is to say that we have people coming from different walks of life. So how are you as an industrial psychologist and IO psychologist, how are you going to manage or how are you as the management of the organization, how are you gonna manage these resources that are so diverse? So that is another characteristic of 21st century employee or a 21st century worker. Additionally, because we are living in the times of AI, we need to consider that the personnel that we have right now, they are innovative. They are they have this huge appetite to learn new things. They want to be continuously developing. They want to develop their skill set. So that is that. And in addition to that, the workforce that we have right now, they are very adaptable, as in you throw them or you sort of put them in any kind of situation and they can very well manage, because they are more malleable. They are ready to, because they are willing to learn. That is what makes them more adaptable. So these are some of the characteristics of a 21st century employee. Now, if we talk about what are the challenges when it comes to managing or handling such an employee, is that one, uh, we have now become a knowledge based economy, right? So people are learning, people are curious to learn more and more. So we live in a time where we would want to give our employees opportunities to keep working on themselves, to become better versions of themselves, both skill wise and perhaps on a personal level too. Another thing is that how are we going to manage the diversity? That is another challenge, as we saw earlier, that the workforce that we have these days at organizations, they are multilingual. So meaning that they come from various backgrounds, making them a very diverse group of people, which in itself is a challenge. That how are you as a management or as an organization going to deal or going to manage these resources? Another challenge that comes up is voluntary turnover, which is to say that people or personnel, during the course of their work, they choose to leave the company for whatever, for xyz reasons. So how, that is a challenge. How will you, or how as an organization, uh, or what as an organization can you do to retain your employees? Another challenge is absenteeism, which is that people don't turn up for work, and perhaps there is a lot of irregularity. Perhaps they are not as punctual as they're expected to be. So absenteeism. So how are you going to, as an organization, how are you going to make the work environment stimulating enough, or interesting, challenging, or perhaps an optimal level of condition wherein the employees will feel compelled or perhaps driven to come to work each day, every day. So, absenteeism is a challenge, and then job satisfaction. Are people feeling satisfied enough with the job that they're doing? What areas can you focus on as an organization to improve or increase their job satisfaction? So, these are some of the challenges that organizations face when it comes to managing 21st century employees. Now, we can look at some of the HR practices that organizations in different areas have been employing to overcome these challenges. So, one is one which is very basic, perhaps, and very essential at the same time, is counseling to perhaps make them feel heard, to give them space to discuss their problems, whatever issues they are facing at workplace. So counseling is indeed one way to overcome this challenge. Then organizational learning, which is to say that providing platforms and and space for employees to learn to become better so that they can then contribute into the organization's smooth functioning. Then we have another practice is human capital management, which is to say that uh, human beings, the human resources, they are a capital in themselves. So how as an organization can you work in the direction of improving this capital, or perhaps utilizing this capital in an efficient manner where they don't feel uh, used, and at the same time they feel valued, they feel that they have dignity in the workplace. So that becomes crucial. And if you if an organization, you recognize that your human resource, or the personnel working at your organization, is not just a machine that you can get loads of work out of, rather you treat them as capital, as something that can be improved upon, something that with right amount of care and dignity can bring better output into the organization. If you recognize that these are in fact resources that can be very essential and very rewarding for the organization, if that is recognized, then there is certainty, or perhaps there are higher chances that you will be able to retain these employees. Now, so these are some of the practices, HR practices of 21st century. Another thing is total quality management. Now, what is total quality management? It is we are essentially saying that how are you gonna manage the entirety of the organization. That is to say, you're not just focusing on uh, maybe one aspect of the organization. Say that you're putting in some input and you're getting some kind of output, so which is all very well. But if you also if you not just focus on the product, but also each and every aspect that is involved in the organization, that will be total quality management. So essentially what you're doing is you're not just focusing on one aspect of the organization, but you're focusing on the entire thing, from your product to your employees and to the customers. So you're catering to or taking into consideration each and every part of the organization. Another thing is SHRM, which is Strategic Human Resource Management. Now, Strategic Human Resource Management is essentially where you are strategizing or looking forward, or it is a futuristic take on human resource management. So you're strategizing as to how can you uh, improve your organization. So you're developing a plan, you're developing a layout. So in order to do that, there are some things that you need to know, which is you need to know your company's goals and abilities. You need to know about what are the what is the vision for your organization in the future. You also want to know about the resources that you have in order to reach these goals. And then you would want to, whatever plans that you have from and whatever resources that you have, utilizing these, you will try to execute your plan to push forward your organization. And then every now and then you assess your goals, you assess the resources that you have, and whenever it is required for you to perhaps adjust or make changes, you do you move in that direction. So that is HRM in very short words. So nevertheless, to summarize, we looked at three things when it comes to managing people in 21st century. We looked at their characteristics, the challenges involved, and what are some practices that organizations are taking part in to overcome these challenges. So for characteristics, we saw that the personnel of the 21st century are they are digitally well versed, they are autonomous, they seek freedom as they are working, they want to be given, they want to have the space to work on their own and to take initiatives, so they want that space. We looked at how they are multilingual, they are innovative, they are ready to learn new things, and they are adaptable. So these were some of the characteristics. And then we moved on to the challenges in managing 21st century people. So the challenges were such as knowledge-based economy, diversity, we looked at voluntary turnover, we looked at absenteeism, we looked at job satisfaction as some of the key pointers. And then the HR practices in 21st century that more or less help in managing 21st century people. We looked at counseling, we looked at organization learning, human capital management, we looked at total quality management, and finally strategic human resources management. And with that, we come to the end of this lesson. Thank you.